We're on to week 4 in the NFL, so let's talk predictions and bets, but stick with me. Later in the video, we'll have GoJo's player prop bets of the week, as well as some of my favorite college bets of the week. But what's crackalackin' is your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. We're going to be starting with the Thursday night game. The Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions. We will be doing a watch along of this game later tonight, so come join us for that. But the Packers enter this game 2-point underdogs. The over and under is currently set at 45, and there are some important notes here because Taylor Decker making his return for the Detroit Lions, so that tackle duo of Sewell and Decker, they're back. You look opposite end of the trenches, and no Bakhtiari, no Jenkins for the Green Bay Packers, but it sounds like they're going to be getting back Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, Jair Alexander, so very important pieces for this Packers offense. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I kind of like this being in Lambeau, excuse me. I like taking the Packers on the money line. Don't even give me the points. I'll take them on the money line in this game. Let's not act like the Lions aren't prone to stinkers. They lost that shootout against the Seattle Seahawks. However, at the over and under, currently getting bet down from 46 to 45. I still like the under in that matchup. Let's go ahead to the Sunday slate of games as we got the Jacksonville Jaguars playing in little old London. It's basically a home game for them at this point against the Atlanta Falcons. Looking at the injury report real quick for this matchup, and there's a couple of notable limited in practices with Anton Harrison, Fadakasi. Zay Jones didn't participate today in practice, so that's something to keep an eye on. But all in all, I do like Jacksonville on the money line. They're the 3-point favorites. I don't feel that good about Jacksonville. They've kind of underperformed the last couple of weeks when we talk about the playmakers, making just bad drops, not being able to catch the ball in bounds, just kind of letting Trevor Lawrence down. The offensive line not really playing too well, and the defense's inability to get pressure. There's a lot going on here when we talk about maybe betting against the Jags. But again, this is in London. They're very experienced with that. So I feel good about leaning on that. I don't like the over and under. It's currently set at 43.5. I'm just not a fan of that. Just feels too on the nose for me. All right. Miami Dolphins, baby. Fins up. We hot. And they're taking on the Buffalo Bills. And you know what? I'm going to ride my Miami Dolphins, and I'm going to ride them hard. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I know phrasing. I'm not good at it. It is what it is. I said what I said. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins, and you know what? I'll take that plus 2.5. Currently, Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites. I know this is in Buffalo. Kind of is what it is, but I like the Dolphins here. Their offense just looks unstoppable. The Bills are coming off a very impressive defensive showing the last couple of weeks, but those are against teams like the Raiders and the Commanders. Dolphins, they built different, and this might be a reality check for the Buffalo Bills. The over and under is at 53.5, and golly, man, I'm tempted to take the over there because I do want to see a lot of points. This is the Dolphins. But if you think back, what did the Patriots and the Dolphins? It was their point total was 41. So I'm actually going to go with the under in this ball game. Moving on to the Denver Broncos taking on the Chicago Bears. Somebody's got to win here. In theory, could also end in a tie, but Denver currently 3.5-point favorites. Over and under set at 46. I like Denver on the money line. They just look like a better team. I know the Dolphins just put 70 up on them. Fins up, baby. But this is a better team than what we saw last week. Yeah, the missed tackles weren't encouraging. I think they were missing Josie Jewell in that matchup. So I'm not trying to give them I'm not trying to give them any excuses there, but I mean, they were missing some contributors. Justin Simmons still limited in practice, so I mean that's trended in a positive direction. I think Josie Jewell did not participate in practice, so not great. Frank Clark didn't participate in practice, but kind of is what it is. I think the Justin Simmons thing is a little bit more important than those two other players. So I like Denver in this matchup more so just on the money line. The 46 is interesting. I really want to go under with this, but I don't think I'm going to touch it. 46, again, one of those just feels like it's on the nose. It's the NFL, man. Vegas, they know. So I'm going to just stay away from that over under. All right, moving to the Ravens versus the Browns. We're going to see who gets supremacy of the AFC North. And currently Browns 3-point favorites, and that sounds good to me. That's a tough call. Like part of me wants to take that Ravens +3, but the Browns defense is terrifying. It truly is. I look at that 40.5, and even that scares me a little bit. I want to believe the Ravens will put up more offense than that, but again, that defense is so good. And if I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't think I'm touching this matchup. I think I'd rather just watch it. I mean, let's take a quick look at today's injury report for that matchup. As the Ravens had a bunch of guys not participate in practice. We're talking Rashad Bateman, OBJ, you had Kyle Hamilton, Justice Hill, Marlon Humphrey, but I don't think Marlon Humphrey's expected back for another week. I don't know, maybe he makes a surprise appearance. We got David Ajabo didn't participate, Odafe Owe, so a lot of injuries there. They list Marcus Williams limited in practice, but I mean, it's a torn pec. He's out for like another 4 weeks. Probably 6 weeks, actually. Hold on. Torn pec, that's about a 4 to 6 month recovery. So yeah, he's actually going to be out for a more extended time than that. On the Browns side, they had a bunch of did not participate. A lot of these are just rest. They're veteran players, so they're taking veteran rest days. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, I'm just not touching this game in general. But let's go ahead to the Bengals versus the Titans. Bengals 2-point favorites, over and under set at 41. Treylon Burks limited in practice today. That's fine. Not worried about it. On the Bengals end of things, I guess Herb Smith is kind of the bigger name. Well, I mean, they got Joe Burrow, but we know the calf injury is going to bother him week to week, so it's kind of a non-talking point to me. Like, it's a talking point during the game, but it's like, you know he's going to play. That's the thing. I think I like the Bengals -2. I really have no faith in the Titans at this point. The Titan offense just does nothing. It really doesn't. And I don't think they will. Like, I think Trey Hendrickson's going to eat up Austin Dillard in this matchup. So, yeah, I like the Bengals -2. And then the over and under at 41. I'm feeling balls to the wall. I feel like this could be like a 20 to maybe 13, 20 to 14 game. Maybe 21-13, 21. Yeah, I like the under. I like the under at 41. I know it's a low over and under, but I'm kind of feeling it. I mean, what did the Rams and the Bengals? They did 35. So I could see it in that 35 to 36 point vicinity. Rams take on the Colts. This is a toss-up game. Look at that. They're both even. You could go either or. Over and unders at 46. Who do I have for this game? I think it's a toss-up. I do like the under at 46. It was originally 46.5, so has been betted down a little bit. But again, it is a toss-up. You could go with the Rams, go with the Colts. I don't feel too strongly about either, so I'm not touching that, but I'll take the under. I don't think we're going to see we could see a fireworks show, but Aaron Donald's nuts. He could carry the defense, and they're starting to get emergence from some of their rookies and Byron Young. Kobe Turner. Witherspoon's been pretty solid out there at the corner position. And then Gus Bradley is a solid defensive coordinator. He's gotten good production from guys like Kwity Paye, you got Samson Ibuka. So it's a good defense that they have there in Indianapolis. So I could see them hitting that under. I actually feel really good about the under in this ball game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the New Orleans Saints. They're fighting for supremacy in the NFC South. Over and under is 39.5, so it's real low, and the Saints are the 3-point favorites. So I actually really like the Saints. Do I? I like the Saints maybe to win. No Derek Carr. Actually, you got to remember that. Well, he was listed week to week. What's the practice report on Derek Carr? This is an AC joint injury. They could try to rush him back. I don't think necessarily they will. No injury reports from the Saints as of yet. I don't know. I'd play that by the ear. Because honestly, Jameis Winston could come have a revenge game here against the Bucs and just light up. But the Bucs are a very good defense. Baker is coming off of a less than stellar outing. They can't get the run game going, and I don't think they will against this defense. Maybe you take the Bucs 3.5, or you take the Bucs +3. Give you a little wiggle room. This over under was originally 40.5. It's been bet down to 39.5, and I think I'm gonna. Man, if this game goes like 20-17, I'm gonna be really pissed because then it just hits that under. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go with the over at 39.5 and just kind of hope it doesn't like turn into just like teams getting into the red zone and kicking field goals. Probably be better if Derek Carr wasn't playing in this game because I think he's 5 of 17 in the red zone. When it comes to like completion rate, like he just falls off in the red zone. So maybe having Jameis might be a little bit more point oriented, but it's a low over and under. I'm gonna lean the over in this case, but yeah, give me Tampa +3. I think this will be a close game. Washington takes on the Philadelphia Eagles. This is gonna be a tough one in Lincoln Financial. Eagles are 8-point favorites. That's just too large for me, especially in the NFL. So you might be willing to go Commanders +8, but I think the safe bet is obviously Eagles on the money line. Over and under set at 43.5, bet down from 44 yesterday. So I think I'm still going with the under in this game. I don't know how Washington's going to score. We saw what happened when Washington faced a good defense, and we know how detrimental, like when Sam Howell gets like when he is turning over the football, it's leading to points for the other squad. So very detrimental in that regard. This is probably the best defense he has faced this season. They are gonna eat up that offensive line. Jalen Carter looking like could be an early front runner for defensive rookie of the year. So yeah, give me the Eagles money line. Give me the under. Vikings versus Panthers. Vikings are a 4-point favorite. Over under at 46.5. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I really don't want to touch this Panthers Vikings. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't feel good betting either one side. I'm kind of curious on the Bryce Young report. Let's find it. Golly, the Panthers injury report is huge. So you had DJ Chark, not a full participant. Frankie Louvu, not a full participant. Like, didn't participate in practice, period. Let's see, Tyler Moton, but that feels like a veteran rest day. Xavier Woods, but I know he was banged up. Bryce Young was a full participant. Let's see if they bring him back in this game, even though the offense was kind of humming with Andy Dalton. So that's something to keep your ear to, potentially. Yeah, I think I will touch the over and under. Wild enough, I like the over if it's Andy Dalton starting. I really like that over. Wow, it's been bet up a full point. It was 45.5 yesterday. If Andy Dalton is starting, I like the over. If he is not, I like the under. If it's Bryce Young, I like the under. There's the caveat. Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Houston Texans. There we go. Pittsburgh 3-point favorites. Over and under is 42.5. Man, I kind of want to say, like my heart tells me Houston +3. My brain says that defense is ferocious for the Steelers. Give me Pittsburgh -3, and that's probably where I'm going to go with this. I like the under here, 42.5. I don't think many points are going to be scored in this ball game, and I'm not talking like this is going to be like a 15-10 matchup like the stinking Patriots and Jets were, but I don't think they'll get to that 42.5. I can't see Houston putting up a lot of offense against JJ Watt and friends. So especially, I mean, hey, Houston's right now, their offensive line is just a bunch of patchwork. So they may have succeeded against the Jags. Jags had their own problems. Steelers don't have those problems. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh -3. Give me the under. All right, let's go to the next slate of games. We got in the evening, Raiders, Chargers 5.5-point favorites. Over and under set at 48.5. And I just don't want to touch this ball game. I really don't. Jimmy G, they said he had a concussion. I don't know if imagine he's out of concussion protocol since he played the rest of that game against the Steelers. So he hasn't been a participant in practice this week, though. So that's something to note. It sounds like Austin Eckler will be good to go for this matchup. That's great for the Chargers, and we'll kind of talk about that when we get to player prop bets. Yeah, I'm not touching this ball game. I'm not persuaded either or. That's a really high over and under as well. If anything, I might swing on the under. But I don't know if I trust the Chargers defense enough. Interesting matchup here. The New England Patriots against the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Dallas 6.5-point favorites. So I'm taking New England plus 6.5. Maybe bet that up to 7.5. So yeah, I would say that, but yeah, I like that. But yeah, I'll take the plus 6.5 if you can. If you want, bet it up to 7.5. Over-unders at 43. Give me the over in this game. I think we're going to see some offense from these guys. I know they got two stellar. I feel like that it's going to be a lot closer than. Feel like the offenses should emerge, but these are two very good defenses. Like, bet in the under. Actually, I think I'm going to switch here. I'm going to go with the under. These are two very, very good defenses. I know that the loss of Trey Diggs kind of like, especially when we saw just what the Cardinals were able to do to the Dallas Cowboys offensively to their defense. So like the Trevon Diggs injury is a lot bigger than maybe some people made it out to be. But with the current struggles at tackle for the Patriots, Micah Parsons should be eaten. I think the Patriots defense is they're that good. Dak, he showed his turnover worthy self last game, cost him there at the end, throwing an interception into triple coverage. So yeah, give me the under. Give me the under at 43. All right, man. The Cardinals take on the Niners, man. This is a gritty Cardinals team. I don't know if I like betting Cardinals plus 14 because the Niners have just been smacking every team that wasn't the Rams. Even the Rams, they had a 10-point lead, and Rams like kicked the field goal to actually cover in that game. That was kind of funny. But yeah, just give me Niners on the money line. That's the safer bet. We got the over-under at 44, and I really like the under in this game. I know the Cardinals looked impressive against a very good defense. I don't know if they can repeat that performance at the stadium formerly known as Candlestick Levi Stadium. It's always Candlestick to me, man. That was superior. I say always, like it's the same stadium, but I always just love the name of that Candlestick. But yeah, no, I'll go with the under. I'll take the Niners on the money line. And then the Sunday night game, which we'll be doing a watch along of as well, the Jets take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites. Over under is at 41.5. I'm not touching that over and under. I am curious if the Chiefs, I don't trust the Jets to do enough to cover it by themselves. And the Jets have a very good defense. I think the Chiefs, they could probably put up 28, 31 on the Jets defense. But do I trust the Jets offense enough to be able to cover that other 10.5? I don't. I really, really don't. So I guess, am I saying I like the under more? No, maybe I'm just not touching it. I'm just not touching the over and under. Give me Kansas City on the money line. That's just a safer bet. Ooh, I really feel like I am talking myself into this under. Nah. I ain't screwing with Zach Wilson. I'm not touching the over and under. And then Monday night, also doing a watch along for this game. We got the Seahawks taking on the New York Football Giants. It's a toss-up. They're at even. You could go either way, Seahawks or the Giants. But I do believe the Seahawks probably win this game. But this could be a get-right game for the Giants, so I'm not going with either. The Seahawks defensive line should be able to get pressure in this ball game. We saw what they did to the Panthers, which the Panthers are a struggling offensive line. And I would say the Giants are even worse. So it's like it's easy to put money on the Seahawks in this matchup, but I'm just going to stay away from it from now. Over under is 47.5. Do I see a lot of points being scored in this game? I can. It's the Seahawks. I don't think I really want to screw with it, though. So I don't think I'm touching this game at all. But let's go ahead, get to GoJo's Picks of the Week. Welcome to GoJo's Picks of the Week, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Remember, when you sign up using promo code Broshmo at Underdog Fantasy, they will match your first deposit up to $100 reduce. So if you deposit $100 on your first time, you're going to get $200 to play with. If you deposit $5, you'll get $10 to play with. There is not a better place to play weekly fantasy than Underdog Fantasy, or you can play Pick'ems, my favorite. Currently, you could win $10,000 at Underdog Fantasy. They're going to pick 10 lucky winners who win using this pick of Rachaad White, higher, lower, 73.5 total yards. I took lower. That's a good Saints defense and a bad Tampa Bay offensive line. But let's take a look at some GoJo's picks, as I have Justin Herbert lower than 284 yards. They're taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. It feels like, yeah, they can probably put up a lot of points. But key to this game, Austin Eckler is coming back. If this team gets up and gets up early, which it's not like they have, they've been playing close games every week. But I think they're going to start leaning into the run game a lot more like they did in week 1 with a healthy Austin Eckler back. My next one is Jamar Chase. Higher, 81.5. He has been going off. He went off last week for like 140 some yards. And this is Joe Burrow's most reliable target, especially with T. Higgins, who had like 2 drops in that game against the Rams, went to the medical tent, but I think it was for cramps. So like I like relying on Jamar Chase. I also like Bijan higher than 65.5. Yes, he was a bit of a letdown last week, but he faces the Jacksonville defense, which They did to play a whole lot well against Houston. And I'd like to believe, that Atlanta is a better run team than Houston, which they are. So I think Bijan's going to be a lot more effective. So I got him higher than 65.5 rushing yards. And then this one's a dice roll. This one's a little scary. Raheem Mostert, lower than 71.5 total yards. I know it's ballsy, but I think Devon Achane, let me say his name right because he changed it. Devon Achane, he went off last week. I think he's going to be a lot more involved in this running back room. So I'm maybe not necessarily a total 50-50 split, but he's going to be eating good. I could see that being a 40-35 split in the backfield. This Bills defense is pretty solid. I think they're going to do a good job of at least neutralizing the run, especially if there's going to be some sort of split in the backfield. I could see Raheem Mostert maybe falling under. Remember, he's coming off 2 like just banger weeks. I feel like a letdown might happen here. And then got a couple of others for you. Tank Dell higher than 45.5. This dude's going off. CJ Stroud, he's slinging the football. I know that Pittsburgh defense is really good, but to be honest, it's really good on the defensive line. The secondary, I think Tank Dell could take advantage of that, especially if he's facing off against Chadon Sullivan in the slot. Alexander Madison, he had a good running day last week, and I think he could have another good performance against the Carolina Panthers this week. Panthers, they got torched by Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Alexander Madison, I'm hoping the Cam Akers split doesn't come immediately here, but higher than 50.5 feels like a good number. This one could be a bit of a dice roll, but I got Jerick McKinnon higher than 10.5 rush yards. You may look at that and be like, oh, that feels like an easy one. He hasn't gotten over 10 rushing yards at all this season. He only has like 4 carries this season. But he had 2 carries against the Bears, went for 9 yards. I think he could maybe bust open a big one, even if it's just 1. Give this guy 3 touches. I think he'd get to that 10-yard total. Javonte Williams, I got him higher than 52.5. That Chicago defense it's jinx. It's bad. I think Javonte Williams, this is a get-right game for him. I think they're going to get the run game going in this one. And then Sam Laporta. This cat has been a focal point in the offense for the Detroit Lions. So I look at that 42.5 number, and me looky, me likey. I'm going to take higher on that. I think this is going to be a very competitive game. So they're going to have to rely a little bit more on the arm of Jared Goff. But let's go ahead, get to some of Broshmo's college cowardice picks of the week. Let's talk some college football. As I got an 11-leg parlay here for $10, pays out $12,000. But hey, be smart about it. Take some of these legs and make smaller bets. Always try to make that money back. But bet within your means and bet responsibly. I can't say that enough. But let's check out some of the bets that I got here. As I got the under in the Utah-Oregon game, which happens tomorrow. But I got them at the under at 45.5. Both are very good defenses, and I can see a defensive showdown. I'm taking BYU on the money line. I believe they're 1.5 or 2.5 point underdogs. But I like BYU. This is at BYU. This is a team that knocked off Arkansas, traveled to Kansas, wasn't able to get it done. This is a team getting hot at the right time, and I really don't trust Emory Jones. I just don't. I'm going to take Arkansas plus 6.5 against Texas A&M. This is a very good Arkansas team that's coming off a couple of tough losses, a close one against BYU in Salt Lake. You got I think LSU, they faced it off in Death Valley, pushed them to almost overtime. They led for much of that game. KJ Jefferson's just built different. They should get Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, back in this game. Don't know if Wigman's going to be able to go. It might be Max Johnson. Max Johnson's still pretty solid, but I like them maybe covering that +6.5. We got Florida, Kentucky. I don't feel good about either one of those teams, but I feel good about that under at 44.5. Is that the second 44.5 I'm betting on? Ooh, it is. So I feel good about both those defenses, though. Georgia currently going against Auburn. I think they're going to blow Auburn out the water. They're currently 14.5 point favorites. If you don't like going with that over 2 touchdowns, you can bet it down to 13.5. And that's actually what I did against Michigan, or with Michigan and Nebraska. Listen, Michigan hasn't covered at all this year. The play has been whoever the other team is, take them plus the points. In this Nebraska game, let me look at the current Michigan current spread. Yeah, like currently they're 17.5 point favorites. I went ahead and bet it down to 16.5. I feel better about them covering that. Nebraska's a really bad team. They're just really bad. We got LSU, Mississippi, Ole Miss, baby. They got a really high over under there at 67.5. Me looky. Me like you. I think they go under that. I mean, even with LSU and Arkansas, they hit 65 points last week. Ole Miss against Alabama, the point total in that game ended up being 34. I think maybe they meet in the middle and somewhere in the 50s here. So I like that 67.5 total. I got Oregon. I also bet down. I think they were like 27.5 or 28.5. I bet it down to 26.5. Stanford's really bad. Oregon's really good. Currently, Georgia Southern, they're touchdown favorites against Coastal Carolina. This is a very good Georgia Southern team right now, so a team to watch out for. Coastal Carolina, their best days look behind them. I think Georgia Southern could cover winning by a touchdown. Oh man, this is the most least sure I've been. This one I'm not the most confident in. Oklahoma covering 19.5 against Iowa State. Iowa State's dog water. They really are. Oklahoma should blast them out the water. Oklahoma hasn't been the best team at covering this year. At least they weren't last week. Literally, I told myself, bet that down to 13.5 against Cincinnati. Said I was like, I'll take the 14.5. It'll be fine. And they win by 14. So am I feeling confident about this 19.5? Not entirely. You could bet it down if you want, but I'm very confident that Oklahoma smokes Iowa State. And listen, this game's at Tennessee. But South Carolina, I don't think Tennessee is that much better than South Carolina. I like taking South Carolina plus 12.5. South Carolina's playing really good football, and I think even if they don't win this game, they'll keep it close. Tennessee really hasn't blown anyone out of the water this year. You'd be like, look at what they did against UTSA. And it's like, UTSA's a really bad team. Look at what they did or what they didn't do against Austin Peay at Tennessee. Like, come on. Give me South Carolina plus 12.5. I like that, and I like that a bit. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.